Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy, what is it? Today's Thursday. Oh my gosh, time's flying by. So luckily the miners weren't trading today because of President Carter's funeral procession. That was the reason why the markets were closed today. So luckily they weren't trading because Bitcoin was down again today as well. But I'm sure they're gonna be down tomorrow on Friday unless Bitcoin really starts to reverse its trend here. So we'll take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin here really quick, and then we'll get into the best miner in December and for the basically 2024 as well. And then we'll get into you guys Q&A. That's basically it. So I greatly appreciate you guys coming in here as always. You guys know the drill, not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And we have one other story to talk about before we get into the miners, and that's on Cleanspark here. But we'll get into that as well. So Bitcoin's up a little bit here right now on the new day, which is going to be for Friday. It is up slightly. It's up about 1% here, but it was down today quite a bit as well. It was down to a low of 91,187 exactly. It closed at 92,547.44 cents. So we were down 2.62% on it. Miners, like I said, weren't trading today, so that's at least a good sign there. I'm sure we would have been down even more. Another 5-10% on these guys would have probably happened here. So with Bitcoin coming back up here a little bit here, we'll see how it goes during the day tomorrow. But right now it's at least in the green a little bit here. And it looks like 92,000 is a pretty good, like 92,500 seems like is a pretty good support level almost for it. I mean, you can see it here right there. We got it a couple times here as well. So that's kind of acting as a support line right now for Bitcoin. We'll see how many more times it tries to go below it, but it's already tried to go below it here a couple times. 1, 2, 3, a couple times back here as well at that point. So the more times it tries to go below it, the more likelihood of a chance there is that it's going to fall below it, and then we might be going down to like where I said 85,000, 75,000 at the bottom would be where I would see it possibly. But we'll see what happens here. I mean, we're just in a little funk right now with Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin, but the markets in general, and the sentiment in the markets with you know, the amount of rate cuts that are going to be happening here this year. That's kind of gone down in the toilet a little bit as well because the economy is doing better than people were expecting. So that's always playing into it as well there, okay? But otherwise, we'll see how Bitcoin does tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll take a look at the numbers for Bitcoin minus short interest, the latest numbers that I have for them. Excuse me. But we'll take a look at that tomorrow as well. Tonight, we're just going to go over the miners for December production, which one was the best at that point, and the best one for 2024 as well, okay? The single story that we do have here on Bitcoin, or actually on Cleanspark, sorry. But I wanted to actually point out Bitcoin here. Bitcoin is actually down for the month of January right now. It's down 0.02 as of right now. So we'll see where it ends up at. But Cleanspark provided a little news release here today. It was able to reach 10,000 Bitcoin in HODL right now. And they all basically are saying that it's a great achievement, which it is, right? Comparing where they came from back in the beginning of 2021 of January. And I think they stated here that they actually mined their first Bitcoin in December, which might be actually when they actually got the site that they purchased. So they're going back to December of 2020 at that point, or December 2021, which I thought this should probably be 2020, I think, because it didn't become a miner until January of 2021, from what I remember. Wow, my voice. Sorry. Oh, man, I'm losing my voice. Sorry about that. But, yeah, I believe it's from January of 2021 is when they started really mining. It might have been December of 2020 when they bought the facility there. So they're talking about that, and it is a good achievement for them, right? It's all Bitcoin that they have mined themselves, and it is a 236% year-over-year increase for Cleanspark's Bitcoin denominated treasury, which is great there. And wow, my throat is really scratchy and tingly. Hold on a second. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. I had to cough up, some phlegm here after being sick. It's all draining into my throat and into my lungs a little bit, so I've been coughing a little bit as well. But this is good. Good update, right? We were asking about this, I think, in the stream last night or the day before. I can't remember exactly when. but people were asking why hasn't Bitcoin come out, or Bitcoin, why hasn't Cleanspark come out with any kind of update getting to 10,000 BTC on HODL? And well, here we have it. They came out with something for us. So they currently HODL 10,097, which is nice. It's going to continue to grow here. I'm more interested to see if they actually end up selling some as Bitcoin goes up higher to like 150,000, 200,000. If they start selling a portion of it, which they did last cycle. We'll see if that has changed, though, however, for them going forward. Okay. Now, going into the metrics that we're going to talk about today here, which is the monthly operations metrics comparison for all the miners that we track here. That includes month-over-month hash rate growth, BTC percentage sold, BTC exahash, BTC mined, days mined, current hash rate, and HODL. So that's 8 metrics there. And then we also look at the 6 metrics, which don't include HODL or the current hash rate, just more on the operation side of things here. And I score these guys from the best, getting like 1 point, to the worst, getting 11 points. And we calculate it all up, and the lowest score basically is the winner there. Okay, so for month-over-month percentage hash rate growth, higher is better. Mara came in number 1 with 18.49% growth. Cleanspark with 16% number 2 spot. TeraWolf at 15.47, 3 spot. Cypher with number 4 spot at 14.38. And then we got IREN with 10.71% growth here month-over-month, percentage-wise. Current hash rate. Mara has the most, 53 exahash, followed by Cleanspark at 39. Then you got Riot at 31 as well and a half, and IREN at 31. So those are number 3 and 4 spot. CORZ at number 5 spot with 19. Wow, sorry. I do apologize, man. My voice is, hopefully it lasts through the whole show. Let's see here. BTC per exahash efficiency. I'm going to have to try and cough this thing back up. Hold on, guys. Okay, back to it. Sorry. Cypher BTC per exahash efficiency for December came in number 1 with 17.33, followed by Cleanspark at 17.08, IREN at 17.06, along with Hive here. So those guys are tied for number 3 spot. Bitfarms with 16.48, number 4 spot. Riot with 16.38, number 5 spot. Mara came pretty close to that as well. It's 16.3 here. Everybody else down below that. Month-over-month BTC mined percentage. So IREN increased their amount mined by 39%, almost 40%. They came in number 1 here. TeraWolf, number 2 spot with 37%. Cypher with 15.84%, number 3 spot. Cleanspark, number 4 spot with 7.4 more. Riot, number 5 spot with 4.24. And you got Bitfarms here, increased a little bit here. Mara as well. Hive actually was flat, more or less. BitDeer was down. Hut 8 was down. Core was down the most on that one. As far as when it comes to BTC mined here, Mara mined the most, 890 Bitcoin, followed by Cleanspark at 668. Then you got IREN at 529, Riot at 516, and Core at 291. So those are the top 5 there. Days mined here, Cypher came in number 1 with 29.3 based on my estimates here. Cleanspark number 2 with 29.12. Mara number 3 spot with 28.98. IREN with 28.66. And then you got BitDeer and Hive pretty close to each other here. BitDeer beating them out just a slightly bit with 27.84. So those are the top 5 for days mined. HODL, well, we know Mara won that one. HODL, they have 44,193. Riot with 17,772. Then number 2 spot. Hut 8 with 10,171. Followed by Cleanspark at 9,952. Now, Cleanspark is up a little bit higher than that, but that's for December here. Hive, number 5 spot with 2,805. Then you got Cypher, Bitfarms, and BitDeer towards the end there. And then BTC percentage sold here. So Riot actually bought some. Hut 8 bought some. Mara bought some as well. So I give them a score of 0, basically, the best they could do here. BitDeer came in with 4.1 also, so they bought a little bit as well. And you get Cleanspark that just sold 1.9%. Hive sold 10%. Core sold 27%, looks like. Bitfarm 69%. IREN, TeraWolf, and Cypher sold 100% or more than that. Okay. Based on that, total metrics scores lower is better, like I said before. Based on the 8 metrics here, Cleanspark came in number 1 with 19 points. Mara not too far behind that with 21 points. Then you got IREN and Cypher tied for number 3 spot. Riot number 4 spot. And then you got Hive and TeraWolf actually tied for number 5 spot here on that one. Okay. Scores based on the 6 metrics without HODL or current hash rate. For that, we got Cleanspark again with number 1 spot, 13 points. Mara 19 points. IREN 21 points. Cypher 22. And Riot with 32. Those are the top 5 here for the month of December. Here are their individual metrics for these guys, how they scored more or less. Cleanspark, you can see nice low scores across the board here, more or less. You got Mara here. A couple ones were kind of a little bit high. BTC per exahash efficiency and month-over-month BTC mine percentage increase was a little high here for them. IREN, pretty good overall. BTC hodl, didn't hodl anything, so they're going to get scored obviously higher on that. You got Cypher, how it scored on all of these things as well, more or less average across the board, except for some things. Days mine was really good for them, and BTC per exahash efficiency here. Riot, good on some things, not as good as on other things. Days mine wasn't that great. Number 10 spot for them. Hive, above average here on a lot of these things here, which wasn't good. Terrawolf, same thing, above average on a lot of these things as well. Bitfarms, same thing. A lot of things were above average. BitDeer, same thing, so that's why they're towards the end here. Core, again, same thing on the numbers there. And you got Hut 8, not looking great there on that one. Now, when we look at the 12 months averages, so I calculated all the metrics for all these guys here every month, combine them all into a rolling 12-month average here. So basically, this is for 2024. And we can see here that based on that, we got Cleanspark being the top dog here, coming in with 26 points on average, followed by Mara with 34, Riot at 46, and then IREN at 47, and Core at 49, along with Hive here, and then 50 for Bitfarms. Those are the top 5 here, more or less, across here. That's including all 8 metrics. If we take out the hodl and hash rate, things still look a little bit similar here. Cleanspark, number 1 here with 20 points, IREN with 32 points, Hive with 33, Mara with 36, along with Bitfarms. So those guys are tied for the 4th spot. And you got Cypher and Core basically tied for the number 5 spot at that point. So how has this translated over into the miners themselves? Well, performance-wise, we've seen the miners that have actually gone into HPCI. Those guys are doing better than others in the past, at least this past year. We'll see if Bitcoin getting 250,000 or 200,000, wherever it might go or beyond, if that's going to bode well for some of the more pure play miners like IREN, Cleanspark, Hive, Mara, Bitfarms, Riot as well. Those guys are kind of more of the pure play when it comes to Bitcoin mining. They have some potential for HPC, but it's not that's something that they're going towards full blast, I guess. So yeah, we'll see. But this is kind of always interesting to take a look at and how it all plays out throughout the year. And here's all of the scores for all these guys, how they got graded on it for the last month here in December, and then the total scores for the last 12 months here on the averages for it. So you guys can see all that as well. That's how I track it all. Okay, and that is it. So let's get into your Q&A. It's going to be pretty quick and easy here, I think, tonight. Not much going on with the miners, so it'll be nice and sweet. You guys will get this updated tomorrow for the Patreon members. And I got to also send you guys updates for the YouTube members as well. I'll get that out tomorrow as well. Okay, let's get into Q&A. As always, preface the question with a question mark or a Q. And then I'm going to roll up a little bit here, see if there's any questions that I missed here, and work our way back here a little bit. Let's see here. John Kurt says, hey Seb, miners need to prove themselves before I invest more than the small positions. Fair enough. Excuse me. Can't see here. What else do we have here? Andre says, hi Seb, on December 30th, the DOJ approved the sale of 6.5 billion BTC at auction. None has been sold yet. If the U.S. is going to create a BTC reserve, isn't the sale of these coins? It is, yeah. We saw the same thing happening in, where was it, Germany over the summer, right? Remember when they sold, I can't remember how much they sold. What was it, 40,000 BTC or something like that they sold? And then it went up pretty much 100% from where they sold it at. That was a bad move, right? I think people are maybe waking up to that kind of thinking there. So we'll see if they sell it. Let's see your question. Hello, Seb. I read the U.S. is going to sell their BTC. Yeah, Trump inauguration. Is that true? Thanks. They approved it. We'll see if they sell it. I think there might be some upset people if they do that, but we'll see. Sarmelon says tomorrow's going to be an absolute bloodbath. Depending what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin actually goes up, we might be okay. It might not be that bad. Let's see here. 97 says, until they change the rule, the government is required to sell seized stuff at auction. It is, yeah. But you could get, they're going to have to change the rules for sure. Could the incoming president put out an executive order to basically halt it for a while until they do that? Yeah, I think that's possible as well. What else here? Okay. Question, Bitcoin keeps holding around 92,000, drawdown since early December. What makes you think it goes a lot lower? Historically, it has gone down 30%, on average around 30%, to correct a little bit after a nice run up. We saw that here just this past summer. We saw it also in previous cycles where Bitcoin did it like 4 or 5 times before reaching its new all-time high. So that's kind of what I'm going by. That's what my expectation is, at least, to see if it's a similar cycle. If it is, then we're going to have another pull. Well, we should probably have that pullback. Let's see. Heinz Ketchup says, man, I'm getting scared. These miners are supposed to be peak around this time. Well, they peak, yeah, they should be going up. I agree with you there. I think the catalyst is going to be the quarterly results here for Q4. Those should be really good for the miners. And Bitcoin, as long as Bitcoin has a correction now and then Bitcoin starts running up into the end of the month maybe, that would be a good catalyst as well, I think. But I think a little pullback would be healthy in Bitcoin. A correction, we've seen it before. I can show you guys in the past as well where that has happened. Why don't we do that? Let me see here. Let's go into Bitcoin here really quick on that one. Okay, so here's Bitcoin. If we look at Bitcoin going to the previous cycle here, you can see like we've had plenty of pullbacks in it. So we had a pullback here, which was from here down to here was about 31%, right? So there's one. We had a pullback from here down to here was 25% roughly, right? Almost 30%, something like that. I didn't quite catch the top here. If you look at it over here as well, we had a pullback as well. It did another 20% pullback here. I think there was a pullback in along here as well. Excuse me. There was a slight pullback over here. Let's see what that one was. From this level, more or less, down to here, this was 15%, 16%. So it's not out of the question that we won't see these kind of pullbacks. And we also saw it here as we were going up in the second wave of the upward trend. We were down 12% there. Let's see, from here we probably corrected quite a bit. To the bottom, 25% or so. And then over here as well, we corrected quite a bit. So I'm guessing somewhere between a 30% pullback isn't out of the question. 14% or 15% roughly on this one as well. So you can see that this has happened before. It's not something out of ordinary that hasn't happened. That's why I'm thinking 85,000 would be ideal, but we could go down to like 75,000. That's kind of where I'm thinking about that. Right here. Why does Riot have a higher MCAP than Cleanspark? If Cleanspark has higher hash rate, efficiency, uptime, 7 BTC is worth over $1 billion in MCAP, 7,000. Yeah, I mean, that could be it. That's partially it, I think. Riot has, let's take a look at it. Riot, 17,000, right? So it's 7,000 more. So that's BTC value of 1.6 billion, whereas Cleanspark's got right now, I don't have the latest numbers for him here, but it's pretty close, about $1 billion. So that's 700 million. So that's 2.9 billion there for Cleanspark. Riot has 3.9. So yeah, it's about $1 billion there. That's the only thing I can think of for it. What the reasoning is behind it. It's just the cash that they have on hand there. Other than that, I mean, operationally, you can see Cleanspark or Riot made 50.69 million here, right? Whereas Cleanspark made 65. So there's a little bit of difference there as well. Not much, but it is 15 million roughly between the two. Yeah, 15 million here. So there's some difference there. I think it might be just a hodl position there, to be honest. And also, tomorrow we'll take a look at the short interest on these guys, and you'll see maybe why Cleanspark is also lower at that point. Okay. Let's go back here to the Q&A. All right. Question, assuming the miners turn around in price, how longer time period do you expect it to take price to get up to the target prices? Last time it all seemed to happen in 3 months from December to March. Yeah, it doesn't take much. Once they start running, man, they can start running quickly here within a matter of a couple weeks. So that is definitely a possibility there. Do you think that BTC miners could be running up during an altcoin season as well, since general risk appetite within the crypto space increases and many assets seem to run it even higher on Hype XR? Yeah, I do think so. Okay, what else? Okay, question. My hope for Cleanspark is the market cap. Is the market cap 10,000 BTC equals 1 billion? Cleanspark current market cap is 3 billion. I'm not sure what yeah. So my hope is Cleanspark's market cap with 10,000 BTC is times 100,000. So that's 1 billion. Current market cap, so 2 billion. I'm not sure. 2 billion is for operations then. Yeah, and so you're asking, is my math correct there? So you're correct on the estimation on the value of the Bitcoin, the HODL that they have there. And then the other part of their market cap is their operations, which those are generating quite a bit of revenue. Let's see. Do you find it strange that the sole source of DOJ selling Silk Road coins is a single tweet from a random guy called DBNX with no source? Is that the only source that's been out there? Then yeah, that would be definitely strange if that's the only one that we have. If there's no actual news from anybody, from any credible news source, then that would be strange. I would say that then that's probably BS. Okay. All right. Seb, why did you sell Core? Do you think they won't go as high as other miners like Cleanspark, IREN, and Bitfarms? I thought that the reason behind it is they have older machines still, right? So they haven't been changing those out. I think they're planning on getting that done in the second half of 2025 with the block miners there. I know that the revenue is going to be increasing for their HPCI business as well coming in the second half. And I thought that the miners would run harder in the first half of the year with Bitcoin going up potentially. So that's kind of my reasoning behind it. I think Core is still going to do very, very well going forward, but I thought some of the miners that are more pure play, have more hash rate, better miners or better machines as well, and possibly more HODL would do better. That might be one of those things. So, but we'll see. Okay. Let's see, question. If they sell, Trump will buy back. Well, they're going to set up a strategic reserve there. So if they sell those, okay, they sold those. What is that strategic reserve going to be? Is it going to be 250,000 Bitcoin? Is it going to be 500,000 Bitcoin? Is it going to be 1 million Bitcoin, right? What's that going to be? That's going to be important to know as well. Let's see. Question. Biden administration sells a large batch of Bitcoin 11 days before Trump comes. Democrats will lose the trust of most Bitcoiners for years. I think politically dumb. What are your thoughts on that? I would agree. Yeah. Trump got a lot of votes from the Bitcoiners out there and everybody else. So then, yeah, they began shooting themselves in the foot a little bit, right? On that. They'd be better off just hold off on it and let the new administration do what they see fit with it. Okay, let's see. Question. I remain very optimistic. Are you the same? Yeah, I am. I'm still optimistic. I'm still looking to buy more if we dip even more. People need to set price notifications to mute and come back in 3 months. Yeah. Hope you're not letting the vibes here change your sentiments. No, I'm still optimistic quite a bit, actually. I am a little bit down on the fact that the miners haven't done as well as we thought they were going to do. And I think a lot of people are as well. I would have expected the miners to start running back in like middle of November, actually. But that hasn't really been the case. But we have seen some of the miners that are getting to HPCI, right? Those have done really well. So people still have done well with the miners, but the ones that were with HPCI for the most part this past year, where some of the pure play miners haven't done well. So I would expect the pure play miners, especially Bitcoin goes up to 150,000 to 200,000, whatever it might be, or beyond, that these miners would then do well. So we'll see. Okay. Question. This looks like an extended cycle. BTC could consolidate here for 3 to 4 months at 90, 100,000. Do you think Cypher and BitDeer become better bets as a result? At that point, if it is an extended cycle where Bitcoin does consolidate here, then yeah, that does bode well for both BitDeer and Cypher, where a lot of their growth is going to be in the second half of 2025, right? So that would definitely be more timely for them, I think. But I still wouldn't discount the other miners that have grown tremendously here right now, that have increased their HODL and everything else. What else do I got here? Let's see. Seb, in previous cycles, miners went up along with alt season, or did they go up before alt season happened? That I don't know. I wasn't tracking that hard the alts last cycle as I was tracking the miners, so I'm not sure about that. We can probably find that out if we ran some numbers or ran some charts on it. All right, let's see your question. Do you think countries will have their own state-owned mining operations? I heard Russia and China already doing that. I don't think it's their state-owned. Russia, maybe. Russia is, right, well, China too. But I haven't heard anything conclusive on that. I'm not sure. But I could see that happening possibly if they really wanted to. Both dictators over there, they're like, hey, scrounge up a bunch of miners, put them over here by this power plant, and let's go. I mean, they can get it done if they want to. Let's see. Okay. Said we hit 91,700 BTC, which is a 16% correction. 30%, yeah, would take us down to 7. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, that this 30% correction would be down to 75. That's where I think the bottom would be in. I'm thinking that maybe at 85%, or at 85%, sorry, 85,000 Bitcoin, things might be okay at that point. That would be, what is that going to be? I think a 20-some% correction at that point from where we are right now. So let's take a look at that. If we went from the top here all the way down to 85,000, roughly right around here, that'd be like a 21% correction, right? And that would also be right where the 100 simple day moving average is, right here, the blue line. So if we bounce off of that, that would be a good sign here, I think, at that point. So that's kind of my, I'm not saying, how do I want to put this? I don't think 75 is like where we're going to go down and be there for a while. I think it's one of those things where we would go down to it and just have a quick wick down to it and back up. Okay. So it's not something that I'm looking to have for an extended period of time. Going back here. Okay. Question. Are we setting aside an evening following Q1 earnings where we celebrate the price surge with vodka chased with short-termers tears? Possibly. We'll have to do that. We'll see where things go. But yeah. Okay. What do you think Cleanspark CPS will be Q1, and also what miners are you most bullish on as of today? The ones that I'm most bullish on is Cleanspark, IREN, would then include in there. Bitfarms is kind of down to the bottom because they haven't been growing as well as I thought they were going to be growing. But then you could also take a look at Mara. Mara, I think, is going to be definitely interesting, along with Riot. They've been doing much better with operations here recently and growing the hash rate. So those are the ones. As far as what do I think the EPS is going to be, we could possibly run the numbers on it, compare what they, excuse me, what they spent in Q3 roughly, more or less. And if that holds true, then that would be the same thing. And I got to take a sip of water. Man, my throat. After getting sick, it's always sucky. All right, let's see here. Do you think the bull rally will be muted until 2026? I don't think so, no. There's too many catalysts happening right now for Bitcoin that would make me think that. Right? President Trump getting into the office here the 20th. We'll see what they do with the strategic reserve there on Bitcoin. When that's going to possibly happen there. You got states getting into it as well. So I don't think so. All right, let's see here. I have 5,300 shares of Riot. Do you think it's enough to make me a millionaire? Geez, at 5,300 shares to, well, for a million at 5,300 shares, where would the price have to be for you to be a millionaire at that point? Let's see. So let's just do that. 1 million. So if you get to 1 million divided by 5,300 shares, you would need the stock to be like $188.67 at that point. I don't see a high likelihood of that happening here this cycle, unless Bitcoin does continue to go up much higher than we think. Sarmelon says, Seb, I don't see enough money entering the space after all the dilution that's occurred. We've been seeing the same money trading in and out of these for a long time. Companies win, investors lose. I tend to disagree here with you a little bit. I get the dilution and everything else hasn't helped the miners. But, I mean, you saw what happened with, well, take a look at what happened just recently with the quantum stocks, right? those things ran up. Where did that money come from? It came from somewhere. So if somebody thinks that the miners have a high potential of going up much higher, they're going to sell something else and get into those, right, to make those things run. So there's plenty of money in the market in general. Things can be rotated in and out of all the time, and we can definitely see that with the miners as well. So I just don't think that's the case. Let's see. Benny says won't be an extended cycle. We'll run to April and then bear market. Okay. Top will be around 150,000 range. Okay. Let's see here. Bryce has very unrealistic expectations of the prices miners will be. Are they more bullish than I am even? Typically, I thought they typically don't talk about stock prices where they think those are going to go. I think they talk about Bitcoin, but I don't think they talk about the actual stocks themselves. What do you think of the LA fires and how will it benefit Bitcoin? I don't see how it will benefit. I mean, it's very humbling, I guess you could say is the word, right? What fire can actually do. So I definitely feel for the people that have homes there, businesses, anything, that's tough. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of blaming going around between, the different parties there possibly that were in control, and did they do I'm not even going to get into it, but yeah, it's a disaster. It's I feel for the people there. It's tough. There's going to be a lot of rebuilding happening there, that's for sure. Let's see. Question, when you calculate the estimated future share price at P20, do you factor in the lower revenue earned in the bear market? No, I'm calculating that if we're looking at future, right? So we're looking at the revenue that they got for the last month times 12 months. That's kind of what we're calculating that based on. That's why we have two models. We have one that's looking backwards for the last 3 quarters in the current quarter, which is estimated. So that gives us one price point estimate, and then we also look at future potential as well. Let's see. 97420 Empire says the trust and pension funds are going to be buying a good chunk of BTC for next few years. Yeah, that could be happening as well. Let's see. Question, are big institutions still heavily shorting the miners? It does look like it based on the numbers that I have here for you guys. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Melon says, let's take a moment and pray for California. Let's take a couple minutes, moment of silence. Okay, yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It's tough. Hopefully you guys don't have, if you do have family over there, hopefully they're safe. That's the most important thing, right? The material things you can replace. Life, you can't ever replace that. So hopefully everybody's safe and everybody was able to get out. If you have family there, that's the big thing. Everything else can be replaced. Yeah, memories are going to be tough, right? But that's minuscule. Life is the most important thing. Okay, let's see. Sabai, I'm thinking miners will only 3x max now and then die. What do you think? I would still be happy with the 3x. It won't be as much as I thought it was going to go, but I'm still thinking 3 to 5x on these guys here. So that would be still really good. If I get a 3x on a bunch of these guys, I'll end up doing really well. I'm sure a lot of you guys will also. So what was it? I've been in it for 3 years now, roughly, or going on 3 years or so. So in 3 years, getting, well, it's going to be more than that. For me, it's going to be more like a 4 or 5x because I bought them at a much lower prices. So I'll be doing really good. I'll be happy with that. Okay, let's see. Question, if there is a U.S. reserve, wouldn't the U.S. government be able to crash the price by releasing coins or pushing the price up by buying? Is price manipulation a concern? It would be a lot, I think, that they would have to move at that point. But yeah, there's always concern for manipulation in there. I mean, you already have a lot of whales that have probably a lot more. I mean, MicroStrategy's got 430,000 or whatever it is right now that he's at. So there's always going to be a little bit of concern of that. Let's see. 97 says, I used to live in South Cal. The hill are full of fire fodder. The sagebrush and some of the other stuff is nasty when it burns. Okay, yeah. I know that they had a drought there for probably, the last year or so, since March, I think they said, of last year. They haven't had any rain there. Yeah, it's going to be tough. All right. Let's see. Rev Einder says, if quantum stocks can do more than 10x, Bitcoin miners can easily do 5x. Yeah, hopefully, right? That's kind of that's what I would expect to happen. If Bitcoin goes to 200,000, that's kind of what I would expect. But you never know, right? We have a lot more institutions playing in this sandbox now than we had in the past. And we really haven't had, we've had some retail, right? I mean, you guys are retail, I'm retail here. But it hasn't been to the levels we've seen before, especially as prices start really rallying up at that point. And unfortunately, retail is going to be the exit liquidity that most of us are going to be getting out at that point. Question, how much evidence was destroyed in the celebrity homes before Trump takes office? Coincidence? Oh, you got your conspiracy theories going on right now. Yeah, who knows? See. Question, Seb, if U.S. makes a Bitcoin reserve, do you think it could cause a supply and demand with other countries doing the same thing? Yes. Not only the U.S. government, but also the states themselves, right? You got a bunch of states that are lining up to have it on their reserve as well. So you got everybody vying to buy Bitcoin here when the supply is actually decreasing over time, which then possibly gets us to, $1 million or $1 million Bitcoin eventually in the next maybe, 5 to 6 years or whatever it might be. Yeah, I think the demand is just going to continue to increase here. How much Bitcoin network does one need to fork Bitcoin? That I don't know. How much Bitcoin network does one need to fork it? Well, if you're trying to do like a 51% attack, you need 51% of the network, so that means you need about 400 some odd exahash, I think, something like that. Over 400 exahash in order to be able to do a 51% attack and fork it at that point. Let's see. Seb, can't remember if I asked you yet, but by end of Q1, if we haven't run, will you sell? We'll have to reevaluate at that point, right? Depending where Bitcoin's also at that point, it's not just that we're going to have results for Q4 being released in Q1, but also where's Bitcoin at that point, what's going on in overall economy and things like that. I may end up selling, right? We'll reevaluate at that point. I'm constantly reevaluating everything that's happening here. Pretty much on a daily basis. It's like, what's going on here? What's going on there? What are we seeing with the economy? What are we seeing elsewhere? What's happening with other countries and things like that? It's just always doing research, always trying to figure out where things might go, right? Do you think after Q4 results we'd run? I would think maybe even before then we would start to run. Because you can see what the miners have already made here. I mean, I have the list of all the miners right now and what the revenues potentially could be just for Bitcoin mining themselves. We can look at it right now. Let me see here, screen. BitDeer, right? Based on their numbers here, which I think includes also their hosting business. Yeah. I mean, their current runway is about 386 million. I can see where there should be at more or less. Bitfarms, same thing. Right now, based on, the revenues here was 53 million here for Bitfarms. BitDeer looks like about hosting, total estimated was about 63 million here for them. Cypher is coming in at 43 million, right? So that's a huge increase from where they were in just Q3, 24 million. That's basically a 2x on revenue here. Cleanspark is at approximately, almost double from where they were, also 89 million here in Q3, 162 million here in Q4. Core is at 68, slight increase here to 79 million. Hive going down here, 20 million to 26, a slight increase for them. Hut 8, that's probably going to be a slight increase as well. 19 million to 22 million. IREN is going to be a huge increase there as well for them. They were at 49 million, 113, right at 2x in growth here in just IREN. Mara should be really good as well. They had great November, December numbers for them. They were 114 million here in Q3, 207 million now for the Q4 numbers. Huge growth, almost a 2x as well. Riot, if we look at that one, 67 million double, 124 million also roughly. TerraWolf was at 27, 35, a slight increase for that. But you can see a lot of these guys are generating a heck of a lot more revenue, especially the bigger guys, Cleanspark, Mara, Riot. IREN even, are increasing their revenues tremendously here. So I would think one would think that that would be a huge positive for these guys going forward, especially if Bitcoin stays here at these levels or at least goes up a little bit more. That's just going to be even more revenue for them in Q1 as well. And then we're not even taking into consideration the ones that have a HODL where the FASB rules go into play, and you can increase your value that way as well. Add that to your appreciation and the valuation of the company as well. So there's quite a bit happening here for them, and it should be good. But we will see. Yep. Okay. Let's see. I think we got. Okay. Last one here. Chris says the Riot in the red on Robinhood right now. So it's down a little bit. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin's going up a little bit. It's up at 1% right now. 93,513, 518. So it's doing pretty good. All right, we'll see how tomorrow goes with Bitcoin and the miners and everything else. We're going to be trading and everything else. Okay, and then Bevney says, I'd sell at 3x though, which is possible. Yeah. Miners have bottomed, hopefully. We'll see. Right, we could go down a little bit more. Bitcoin goes down to like 85,000 or something like that. So always be prepared for that as well. But yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow on everything with the miners and everything else. We'll cover it. And tomorrow we'll also look at the short interest on the miners as well. And I'll take a look tomorrow to see if we have an updated numbers for them, because I'm still getting the numbers from the middle of December here. So we're going in, tomorrow's going to be the 10th. Maybe we'll have the latest numbers or not. Right? Yeah. Private says 4x. Hopefully, I'll take anything above, 2x, 3x, whatever that we get out of it. I'll be happy. Would I love to have 5x? Heck yeah. I think all of us would. But let's see here. Before you're done, Seb, what's your overall summary on Bitcoin, Seb? I think it's still going to go up. I think just the demand that's out there and everything else, I think it has to go up. But time will only tell, right? Based on the adoption that we're seeing here, states, governments, everything else, it should go up, right? All right, everyone. Thanks so much for coming in here. Greatly appreciate you guys as always. Love you all. Have a great night. Tomorrow's Friday, which is going to be great. We'll do a live stream tomorrow as well, just to go over the shorts and information on the miners and see anything else that happens tomorrow. All right. Have a great night, everyone. Be patient. Be hopeful. Be positive. Right. It's always better than being on the downs, I guess. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.